Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all the Shloka.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Prabhupada. So happy to have you on the call here today on the Zoom. And sorry, I had to put you on the waiting room because I had to change my system settings because in some of my other meetings during the day, I had enthusiastic people from the other meeting joining 10 minutes ahead of time. And suddenly, one of my meeting members shouting like, "Who is this person?" I'm like, no. So yeah. So if I forget, which I most likely will be doing that, that I'll forget to admit people. So if you see somebody waiting there somehow, then just let me know. But I hope I'll be watchful of that. So Priyanka Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Varshana Mataji, Dandavat
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam, Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu. So happy to have you here. Bhagyashri Mataji, awesome. Dandavat Pranams to both of you here. And so we will get started without much ado. And starting with the Vigyapti Panchika prayers. And let me see if I can share that with you. And please confirm that you can share, you can see.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri
Dandavat
Prabhupada.
Pranam, Jai Prabhupada. Can you see?
Yes, Mataji.
And what do you see on my screen?
Oh, yeah, now we see.
Yeah, that's the meeting from yesterday. All right, so here we go. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Matsamo nasti papatma naparati cha kaschana parihare pilajame kim bhruve purushottama yuvatinam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvato yatha mano me ramatam tadvam mano me ramatam tvai bhumao skalita padanam भूमिरेवावलम्बनं त्वयि जाता पराधानां त्वमेवा शरणं प्रभु गोविन्दा वल्लभे राधे प्रार्थये त्वामहं सदा त्वदीयं निति जानातु गोविन्दो मां त्वया सह राधे वृन्दावनाधीशे करुणामृतवाहिनी कृपया निजपादाब्जा Dasyam Mahyam Pradiyatam. Okay, so who's going to give us the order for reading order? And I just admitted a few more into the room. So Prabhu, Karima Mataji is also in. So our regulars are in here. And yeah, later on I'll also give. All right. Really, wow. Who is going to give us the reading order though? Khyati, can you give us the reading order? Can you make it for us?
Mataji, I'm just making it.
Oh, you're making it? Neera Prabhu? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, while he's making the reading order, can we just confirm you're able to see the English translations also properly here?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Yes.
Ruchi Soni also joined us here today, right now, Prabhu. Okay, so that is good. So how are you all doing today?
Good, Mataji.
Good.
Deepal Mataji has also joined us. Wow, we have quite a good big team here. So starting with, we have Neera, Priyanka, Satapa, Deepal, Ishwari, Radha, Preeti Radhika, Vaishana, Malshana Mataji, Garima, Manasi, Suyash, and Suruchi. Only there by going by the names there. And on our Facebook page, we have got Vidyavadhu Mataji also joined us, and Achyuta Radhe is also with us, and Saubhagya Mati is also joining us here today. Awesome. Dandut pranams to all the devotees again, and we'll have the reading order momentarily, and we'll get started with that. And I think there's something that's come up on the chat window here. All right. Ruchi is telling us about her status for reading. There you go. And let's see here. How is it?
Mataji can't. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Mataji, for the delay.
No problem. There's no delay. We can always chant the Hare Krishna mantra while we are doing that. And I have to get rid of this too. Okay. Multiple participants. Let's share it one more time. One more time, please, if you can confirm that you're able to see this.
Yes, Mataji.
Not now,
No,
Mataji. Can't
Mataji,
see.
now we see your Facebook screen.
You see my Facebook screen? How come you see my Facebook screen? Wow. And what? Oh, Facebook. Wow. This is desktop that I'm sharing. And it should have only.
Yeah, now
Now we
back.
can.
All right. Good.
Garima Mataji, are you able to read today?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
All right. And
here it goes.
awesome. So let's get started. Sutapa Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Ishwari Radha Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, Deepal Mataji, Suyash Prabhu, Manasi Prabhu, Garima Mataji, Khyati Mataji, Neeral Prabhu, and then Shraddha Mataji. Okay? And we'll see if Charu Mataji joins us. Then I'll have to let her in first. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Ma, sorry to disturb, but I am skipped out. I'm here.
Sorry, Mataji.
Preeti, sorry. Yes, I didn't realize
No
that.
problem.
So Preeti, you can come after Neeral Prabhu.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let's get going. Sutapa Mataji.
O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you only, you alone.
Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you. Hare Krishna.
O Srimati Radharani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants.
O Srimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet.
Okay, so this is time for our reflection and actually checking for how you're all doing on the homework that we did yesterday.
Yes, Mataji, I read every time you see I started my chanting, and I read my Bhagavatam that time also, and in the evening while offering bhoga to the Lord also I read it. Hare Krishna.
What did you read?
Vigyapti Panchaka.
Yes, that's the important point you're missing. Okay, very good. Wow, that's an awesome lot of time, right? Okay, very good. Who else likes to share? the
So,
homework.
Mataji, yesterday I decided that I will set a goal for reading, and in my mind, I decided that I will read 5 pages of Bhagavatam. I have been reading Bhagavatam and I'm on Canto 5, just translations. So, but I was doing always that some days I will get time, I will read like a chapter, and some days I'll hardly read a shloka. So it wasn't regular,
Consistent.
disciplined way. So
Right.
yesterday I decided I'm going to set a goal of reading at least 5 shlokas every day. So I did yesterday for minimum 5.
Very nice. Very nice. And we have got 2 apps that can run on iPhone as well as on others.
Yeah.
PSH, page by page, that you can use that. It allows you to track and sends reminders to you also that you have to read. You have to read today. We can do that. Yeah. Ankit Goyal, one of my godbrothers, and Namswaran Prabhu, another of my godbrothers, they spend many midnight. They burned a lot of midnight oil to produce those 2 applications. But I think it's more than 4 or 5 years ago now. Yeah, in case you need that, then let me know offline.
Sure,
Yes, very good.
Hare
And
Krishna
yeah.
Mataji.
So
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to ask both of you, Vaishana Mataji. So how did you feel, Vaishana Mataji, after doing, setting a goal and then meeting it and
Yeah.
It was very
writing?
nice that like Guru Maharaj Ji has given page by page, be a sage page by page. Yeah. So Mataji, I generally follow the instruction there, and I have said that
I'm asking you about what is the feeling about having recited the
yeah,
Vigyapti prayers every time when you sat down to do something particular in devotional service like that.
yes,
How did it
Mataji.
feel
Then
after that?
I was feeling confident that yes, today I will be able to do it better. Today I will be able to do it better because I'm reading it.
Reading this. Oh, very good.
Praying to the Lord. I'm praying to the Lord before
Very nice.
starting anything, any devotional service.
Right.
Yes, Mataji. Same way for me, I felt that was good because once I had set up that goal, the whole day the goal was in my mind that I have to do it, I have to do it. So that's also kind of, constant thinking about the service for Krishna. Otherwise, I was usually reading Bhagavatam when I'll get a chance. It wasn't like, that I have to do it, I have to do it. So I think that was good. And then after doing it, you feel a good sense of achievement that, yeah, I did it. So I think it was very nice that good idea that in the morning itself, I set up a goal and write it. And then that way I'm, meditating upon my goal and I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, meditating on the goal itself is meditating on Krishna.
Yeah,
Because you set a goal for Krishna. And also, one of the things about the goals is that if you manifest them in the sense that if you write them down, then your sankalpa increases a little bit more. And these kind of goals, what they're going to do is they are going to bring steadfastness in your devotional service, nishtha, which is a very high level of devotional service. And the nishtha also will get strengthened as you go along. We had talked about faith being komal, right? In the beginning, faith is soft like a banana tree, and then it will become strong like a banyan tree. So similarly, this also will go through progressive things. Yeah, very good.
Yes,
Goals, by the way, and these goals,
one
by
thing
the way,
very
just let me finish my thought, Vaishana Mataji. And these goals, these goals were goals that you set by yourself, right? It's difficult to follow goals that others set because you can set it and you are able to monitor it better and recalibrate them. Also, remember one thing, that you might have to recalibrate your goals. Achieving them for one day is fine, but I want to go back and see, am I capable enough of doing it on a sustained basis like that?
Right. I mean, I have to keep changing my goals every day, otherwise they become a routine, and then I'm not that enthusiastic about it because it just becomes a routine process. So I want to like keep refreshing my goals.
Right. So yeah, there's a difference between refreshing and recalibrating. And both the points are valid. You bring in a very valid point as well, and which is about refreshing the goals, and sometimes even like, reciting a chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes you memorize it and it comes from memory and your mind is all over the place, but you're mechanically pronouncing it.
Right.
Sometimes Vidya also always used to say that, give me a new prayer, all because when there's a new prayer, I don't know, and I'm focusing on that.
Right.
Well, there's plenty of scriptures here that Prabhupada has given us to keep us engaged the whole lifetime like that. And the other thing which I was saying was to recalibrate your goals, and that is that whatever you have set as your goal, you might want to tweak it. Maybe 5 slokas is too little, or maybe the 5 slokas is too much, depending on the environment and time, place, and circumstances that you are there. So don't be overwhelmed and very disappointed if one day, if you find that you're not able to meet the goal. It just needs a little tweaking, right? So you go back to a spot where you're comfortable, and then from there we will small daily increments or small frequent increments. We'll go back again to reach, whatever was your desire. Like that, it always comes down, and then can come down, and then again you can climb back up. So it's not about whether you fell down. It's more about when, how quickly can you come back up there, right? Varshana Mataji, you were saying something.
Yes, Mataji, I was just saying that whole day I was conscious of it. So that was very important. I felt that, yes, I have to do that.
You have to
My
do that.
conscious.
Yes. And then also that will also bring you a little bit into the moment, into today.
Yes.
Okay, today
Yes.
I have to do this. I have to do, rather than thinking about he said that and she said that 20 years ago to me, or what's going to happen, tomorrow and day after and 5 years from now, like that. So you kind of stay grounded with Krishna there. Okay, and then Achyuta Radhe giving some chance to those on the Facebook as well. So Ishwari Radhe Mataji says, it was great. I started to pray daily at night to ask for forgiveness for all the offenses I may have done unto the lotus feet of the Lord. See, she's got such a nice way of winding up the day. That's become her routine now there. And then Vidyavadhu says that I read text 10 and 11 of Nectar of Devotion. Yeah, that is very nice.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
So yesterday my goal was to think positive in every way and think about Krishna, that he is the only shelter. So whenever any negativity or any negative thought was coming, I was very particular that I should not let my mind be bewildered by the thought. So I was just concentrating that what is the positivity, what I have in my life around me, what you have told yesterday. And Mataji, after that, at night, I feel so light. Yesterday means there's something, means I cannot express, but it's something different.
Yes.
The feelings and the mood was very good.
Yeah. So now you see that we are slowly through this practice, we are kind of turning inwards. Otherwise, most of the time we are looking at, he said that, he's not, this didn't get done. Oh, look at what is happening, and things like that. But before going into all that, we have to first look inward and see and look at the nice way of, summing throughout the day that you're looking for positive things. Throughout the day, you're looking for opportunities to do the prayers, right? Throughout the day, you're thinking, when am I going to read the Bhagavatam, my 5 slokas, so concentration like that. Then from there, efficiencies of work will come. Right? And as you all grow, I mean, you are coming here to Bhagavad Gita classes because one day you're all going to preach, right, to the rest of the world, and you're going to share your information. And I can tell you at that time, 24 hours will not be enough because we have such a wealth of information to share. And then there's no time. So we have to increase our efficiencies. We have to just, concentrate, get rid of the negative thoughts so that you can do positive creativity there. So this kind of exercise will keep you grounded, keep you in the present moment, and only good can come out of it, as Sutapa Mataji so early has confirmed that. Yeah, very good.
Hare Krishna, Ma.
Yeah, Priti Radhika.
Yeah, I quickly wanted to share that combined with your lecture, and then I had Giraj Maharaj's talk, and he was saying that on chanting, like how to have attentive chanting. So he quoted Srila Prabhupada that he said that, even a parrot can say, Hare Krishna, like he imitates so funnily. Even parrot can do that. But at the end, when the death comes in form of a cat, he goes, ka, ka. He forgets Hare Krishna. So he said that make sure when you chant, do it with Priti Purvakam, like with love. So when yesterday I was chanting, so I set my goal that, not a big, huge goal that I'll do a whole round with attention and Preeti Purvakam. I was like, every time my mind wandered, I said, just please, it is good for you and for me, my mind. Please, let's just do 5 with Preeti Purvakam, 5 mantras. And that really helped. Like I could go on, like it could gently bring my mind back. So that was very helpful.
Yeah. And did you add, maybe you already noticed that, but while you were chanting, you were setting small goals.
Yes. Only 5
5
mantras.
at a time. 5
Yeah.
at a time. 5 at a time. Yeah. Yeah. And when Preeti Radhika says that, after your lecture, and I heard Giriraj Swami Maharaj's lecture, and I'm always thinking like, he's the sugar that Preeti Radhika adds to my lectures. Yeah. And it's amazing that your spiritual master, your name is Preeti, and your spiritual master told you to chant with Preeti.
Yes.
There's a lot that is there in the names and what the spiritual masters tell you. You just have to be ready to grab it. And yeah, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
What else? Who else did somebody do? Oh, Suresh and Manshi, you were not there yesterday, so you might not know about what we did. So each one of us had set a small goal on what we can do. We all picked up something that we had learned from the Vigyapti Panchika prayers, right? And then we said, okay, we are going to apply that in our lives. So they all set some small goals there.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shraddha-devi. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
So I started reading Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 and chapter 2 till we are doing it, the Sanskrit verse and the translation, and read it to Sanvi during bedtime, and it was such a nice experience. Feeling like I have never read it, so every time when I read it, new things coming up, and I feel also great. And my Prabhu was there, and he recorded, and I was.
That's icing on the cake. Yeah.
And he recorded because I was singing Sanskrit words, and they might be. He might be feeling nice because they are also rhythmic, poetic. I don't know why, and he recorded and sent it to the family group.
Oh, wow. See, now this is how preaching starts.
So then I was like, what, when, why, how?
Vibrations. Yeah. Awesome. This is amazing, right? And charity begins at home. You started deciding. Yeah. And now that you're teaching to your kids, I tell you that based on the question they're going to ask you, you're always going to say that it is so fresh. Bhagavad Gita is so fresh because kids come up with all kinds of questions that, we might not even, remember, recall. Okay, good. There were some others who wanted to share. Yeah, please go ahead. So this is practical. We are applying what we are learning into our lives, right? It's very important. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
You helped me smash my goal. Yesterday I was thinking once per hour, then I changed it to once per day.
So tell us more about it.
So actually I had said that, okay, I'll be more conscious about Krishna being merciful and being at least go towards to him, and then meditate a bit. But during the day, the flow was, it was, as you said, like meeting after meeting and work after work. And I mean, I could still think, okay, I have to go and do this. So I spent a little bit of time, but not that focused way. But at least 2 or 3 times I was able to do that. And
wow.
so, but again, if I had thought, okay, every hour I have to do it, or every 2 hours I have to do it, then I would have, oh, I don't think it's possible, and it's all impractical. But if I think my goal was doing at least just once, and then I say, okay, I did it twice, wow, then at least I feel a bit better.
Exactly. Slowly we have to fight Maya because she's sitting over here to tell us that, hey, no, it's not a good idea. Leave all that. It's not a good idea. See, can't do it like that. So you have to take very short things. Yeah. And also try to use, this is Kali Yuga. We have machines, we have devices. Try to use everything possible that you have. You can set reminders at a certain frequency. It'll just pop up. These are machines. They behave. Most of the times they behave well like that. Yeah.
So Mataji, I have a different story to tell.
Okay.
Yesterday, I thought I will bring up Radharani's feet and Krishna's feet while doing my chanting.
Mm-hmm.
And I always remembered after, like, either my half round is over or 5 round is over, rather than at the beginning in like first 3 rounds. So I was like, I give up, it's, and every time I will think, no, next time I'll remember. But then I'm chanting, so it happened that every time it came like after the pranam mantra, and then I start the next round, and then it will come to my mind. So even though I had a picture over there, that relation I'm talking about, so I felt little bit strange, but then I thought it is probably Krishna's will, and I was like, it's okay, as long as I do it right, that's more important than doing it my way.
Yes, yes, and of course, it's not unusual what happened to you. It's not unusual at all to set something and say, I'm going to do it, and not remember it, or remember it halfway through. And when you remember it halfway through, that's the time for us to send a little prayer of gratitude to Krishna and say, I was forgetting it, Krishna, but you made me remember, because sarvasya chaham hidi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. So smriti also comes from Krishna. So now you say, Krishna, I was forgetting it, and you're so kind that you have made me remember. Right? So that's one thing. Second thing is that from this exercise, you also know that the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna are not something that we can will and bring them into our mind. They will come on their own. So
Yeah.
that's also a little, experience and a learning that it's a teachable moment for you there. And our Srimad Bhagavatam tells us about that. When Narad Muni was a young boy of 5 years old in his previous birth, and his mom died, and he was just going up north in India, walking like that, and he sits down and starts meditating, and after some meditation he sees Krishna in the mind, and he's so happy, and then the picture goes away, and then he tries to, like he's a small boy, he tries to close his eyes very tight and sit there again, like he's going to come, I'm going to make him come, and then a voice comes, and it's a very grave voice, and Krishna speaks to him and says that you're not going to see me in this lifetime. Right? And you still have got some material desires, you have to take care of that. And I mean, in the next lifetime, definitely he becomes Narad as we know him, right? In the previous life he was the son of a servant maid, like that. So what we learn from there is that these things cannot come by themselves. So maybe when you sit down to do the chanting of the prayers, or whenever you're doing that Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda, right? So Jai Shri, so from these names, how can you connect these names so that you remember Radha and Krishna? Which name will you pick to remember Krishna?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Okay. And which name will you pick up to remember Radha?
Gadadhar.
Gadadhar. Gadadhar, right? Yes. So we will see Gadadhar. And so when you're praying to them also, just have a practice, have that sankalpa that when I'm doing this is a chance for me to think about this is a chance they will reveal the lotus feet. I'm calling to them, so they will come, right? So when they're coming, you can also say that, they're going to walk and the feet will be there. And rather than these lotus feet, we don't even show them.
I had a picture from Gopashtami.
There you go, right? Yeah. So we don't even traditionally show them. So I mean, what I'm saying is that her feet are very exotic. So if you get them and you are able to come them in a mind, count it as a very positive blessing that, Radharani revealed her feet. And so I would just say, they revealed it to you several times yesterday, right? During the chanting. Yeah. So I would not feel bad about it at all.
Yeah, but I felt the difference between doing mechanically and trying to submit it and do it. There was more happiness.
Yes.
Even I was not able to do it
exactly
like the way I thought initially.
Exactly.
And I was thinking that happens in life also, right? How many times we make plans that doesn't happen the way we think. And this is a process by which we can learn that there is like a higher will or higher learning for me to learn.
Exactly. And that's why they say that for your material problems, and again, going back to Bhagavad Gita as the manual of life, is that your material problems, we try to solve them through material solutions, but it never works out, right? It backfires on us. And so that's why for our material problems, if you find a spiritual solution, that's much better. And then somebody will say that, why is my material problem? Like, what is the problem that I have with my spouse? Somebody might say, how is your devotional service and chanting is going to help me? Right? They'll just ask that. I mean, if they're not looking at the exotic, which is that it's a transcendental mantra, it'll have its effect. Even if you don't look at it exotically, even if you just look at it as it's a practice that I'm doing, you will do things like, you will inculcate things like humility. Because it's easy for us to be humble before Krishna and Radha, but it's practice we are doing. So if you're practicing humility for 2 hours in the morning when you're chanting your 16 rounds, the chances that rest of the day it'll at least manifest a few times, right? And maybe once before our spouse. Right? That is how your mechanical problems get solved. Sometimes the problems don't get solved because you have changed the other person. What we change is our perspective, and what we change is our reaction, right? And the moment you get into that habit, and you get that thing, that an understanding, and that's what Bhagavad Gita is saying in the 8th chapter, that dukhalayam ashashvatam, that there's always dukh. The miseries will always come to you. Always. It's a guarantee. Krishna has said it's dukhalayam. So don't expect anything good coming out of this material world. Don't even dare go there, right? But what you should learn is that I have a freedom. Krishna gave you free will, right? Krishna gave you free will for so many things. So Krishna has given you this freedom, that how am I going to react to this situation that is coming my way, right? And that is what the devotional service teaches you. Through practice, you will learn how to be patient, how to be proper in your talking, how to submit to the will of the Lord, and so on and so forth. So these practices that you're doing every day will again, help you in that direction. Yeah. Anybody?
Mataji, I just want to share a small thing right now. It just happened. Means I got a text from India from one of my friends that I'm having so many problems. I cannot deal with it right now. I just write her that please chant the Mahamantra. That is means what you just told. So it's like the hand-to-hand experience means.
There you go. Yeah, Krishna enables that. Did everybody get a chance to share their reflection?
No, Mataji, I didn't get a chance to share.
Yeah. Ishwari Radha, I'm very.
My goal was very, very simple. And you said to just try to remember Radha and Krishna at noon. Because normally what I do is, sunrise, midday, sunset, I chant the 12 names of Lord Nityananda and 12 names of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, So midday now is, because of the time change, it's 1:22. But you said do it at noon. So I said, okay, I'll think of Radha Krishna at noon, and then I'll chant that mantra at 1:22. So it was not for me, it was not a big deal, because it was like I'm already accustomed to like having certain time to do certain things, and people getting little annoyed by me doing my scheduled way of practice. But I said it's okay. Krishna likes it. That's all that matters.
Good. So now that you speak, and this is about the goals, daily increments, right? Maybe that change. Maybe if you found this goal was not challenging enough, right? Or maybe this is something that you're already doing. Think about something else that you might want to do. Pick up something else from the Vigyapti Panchika prayers, right? How about picking up mercy? Radha Rani is merciful. So let me see if I can be merciful to my kids at least once a day. Because I know kids can rub us the wrong way the whole day. like one day I'm going to watch, before I speak. One day I'm going to stop before I speak and then take it there.
Yeah, that's a good goal for me. Yes. I will do that one.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Mataji?
Yes.
We didn't know about this, but
yes.
A week before we set a goal of doing 5 shlokas of Bhagavatam each day. And till date, we are continuing with it. Hopefully, we'll continue with that.
Okay.
And we love it because we started with Dhruv Maharaj's story, and it's so nice. It's so wonderful.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah. So then again, while you're reading the story, you might just, remember the Vigyapti Panchika prayers. Take up anything from there that you want to apply in your life. And when you sit down, you and Suyash can talk about it also, because you two are there. Yeah. Amazing. So if you miss a lecture, you should listen to the recording.
Yeah. Yes.
then you know. Okay. And by the way, Preeti Radhika, Archita Radhe Mataji likes your realization from His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, this lecture. Yeah,
Giriraj Maharaj ki jai.
yeah. Welcome Vijayalakshmi Mataji and welcome Bhakta Max Gray Prabhu. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, she's very happy actually with everybody's realization. She just wrote that. Yeah. And she's saying that, your realizations are helping her improve her sadhana because she's going to start applying all that to her sadhana. And which tells you about the importance of devotee association. Right? You see this happening practically in your life.
Who is Vijayalakshmi Mataji?
Vijayalakshmi Mataji is from India. She has joined us on Facebook. She has befriended me. I've not met her in person like that. Yeah. Okay, who knows? You might have shared it, and then she would be your friend for all. But I'm happy
No,
to.
I thought probably it is Lakshmi Nair. So I was just thinking because she is the one who listens to.
Yeah, she is. She is. Yeah.
Yeah, she's my friend, Mataji.
There you go. Vijayalakshmi Nair Mataji, Vashana Mataji says hi to you. Okay. Yeah. So anybody else wants to share? Otherwise, forever hold your breath. Speak up now. Okay. So do we have any revisions to the reading order? Are we good on that? Hiral, not Hiral. Niral Prabhu had created that for us. Should we continue reading from the chapter of Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, I can share if you want.
Yes. Whoever, I'm not sharing because I gave permission to everybody else to share on the screen. I mean, yeah.
Neeraj Prabhu, are you sharing?
No, I'm not sharing. You can go ahead, share, Mataji.
Okay. Can you see now?
Yes.
Yes.
I think Priyanka Mataji read last, so it's Deepal Vavi's turn.
All right.
Okay. And Mansi, can you increase the font size or zoom in it? Thank you.
Text 1. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana Krishna spoke the following words. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They are not to higher planets. They led not to higher planets but to infamy.
O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows and a battlemen like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship?
It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls. No, it is. The photo is actually, yeah. Can you? Great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield.
Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like demigods in heaven.
Sanjay said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. O descendant of Bharat, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any one of us cease to be.
Okay, then I go after you.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Right? As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course of time, in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O Scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
Who best among men? Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both.
Hare Krishna, text 17. That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata.
Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge. For the self slays not nor is slain. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being. He does not come into being and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain.
Text 21. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones.
Text 23. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burnt nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same.
it is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you will have no reason to lament, O mighty armed.
One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after that one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and manifest again when annihilated. So, what need is there for lamentation?
Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being.
Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets.
If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death.
The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you?
O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. Hari Bol.
Haribol. Okay, let's go to 2.10 and finish what we had started yesterday.
Tam uvac Hrishikesh प्रहसनन् इव भारत सेनयोर उभयोर मध्ये विषिदन्तम् इदं वचः.
Very nice. Synonyms?
Unto him, Uvacha said, Rishikesha, the master of the senses, Krishna, Prahasan, smiling, Eva, like that, Bharata, O Dhritarashtra, descendant of Bharata, Senayo, of the armies, Ubayo, of both parties, Madhye, between, Vishidantam, unto the lamenting one, Idam, the following, Vacha, words.
O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna.
Okay.
The talk was going on between intimate friends, namely the Rishikesha and Gudikesha. As friends, both of them were on the same level, but one of them voluntarily became a student of the other. Krishna was smiling because a friend had chosen to become a disciple. As Lord of all, he is always in the superior position as a master of everyone, and yet the Lord agrees to be a friend, a son, or a lover for a devotee who wants him in such a role. But when he was accepted as the master, he at once assumed the role and talked with the disciple like the master, with gravity, with as it is required. It appears that the talk between the master and the disciple was openly exchanged in the presence of both armies, so that all were benefited. So the talks of Bhagavad Gita are not for any particular person, society, or community, but they are for all, and friends or enemies are equally entitled to hear them.
Very nice. Okay, so you can stop sharing the screen and you can take some reflections here on the second part that we have, or anywhere from the verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I really like this point that but when he was accepted as a master, he at once assumed the role and talked with the disciple like the master, with gravity as it is required. With gravity, I really like to see that he was serious about it now.
Yes, and the spiritual master is also supposed to talk to you with gravity. So it's not a
Yes.
buddy pally relationship, right? Although the spiritual master is kind and loving and things like that, but you have to always know your place. You have to always know
Yes,
your place that this is where I am. Because sometimes what happens is that, especially when the disciple is very young, the spiritual master might just, put the hand on the head and, pet the head and things like that. And disciple might think like, oh, I'm the best and I'm the coolest in this world. And then try to get a little bit more closer. And as Vidyavadhu Mataji a few days ago had pointed out, that Vaisheshika Prabhu in one of his lectures says that when talking about the relationship between the disciple and the teacher, that don't come so close to the spiritual master that you will get burned. And also don't go so far away from your spiritual master that you don't get the heat and the light that you get from the spiritual master. So that balance has to be struck all the time. And Arjuna will realize that and talk about that later in Bhagavad Gita when he realizes his friend is actually God. I mean, how cool is that, right? You have been meeting with a friend right from childhood, your cousin, and then suddenly realize, like, oh, he's God. So that's when he says that, I have called you, hey Radhav, hey Sakheti, I've been calling you these words, and it was not right for me to do that, because now he's in the mood of a student.
Don't go too close that you get burnt. Can you kindly explain this?
When you come very close, familiarity breeds vice, right? Yes. Familiarity breeds vice. So when you become familiar with the spiritual master, number one, there are chances that you will neglect your duties to your spiritual master. Second thing is that you might start joking with him. How friends can joke. You can start joking, and that's an offense, to a senior Vaishnava. If you talk to them in a joking way, you might say, oh, your nose is like that, and oh, you're, whatever, like that. And the worst is that in trying to get very close, and sometimes it can happen. For example, suppose we have a spiritual master who's very, very older than we are. And suppose I am the technology whiz kid. So there are chances that your spiritual master not be at the same technical level, or he might not exhibit his knowledge at that level as you are. So that he might even come and tell you that, hey, can you just show me how do I create bookmarks? Or can you just show me Google Docs or something like that? He can say that, right? And then you have a role of now instructing to your spiritual master. And that's happening because you're close, right? You're working with him on some projects, very close together, like that. And then the tendency can come to start criticizing. And that's the worst thing. And then also, Guru Maharaj always, we have to remember that he's at a higher level. And when the higher you go, you have a bigger picture and a wider view. And from wherever we are, our view might be a little smaller. And he might be asking you to do certain things, but I might put on my technology cap and I might say that, oh no, I don't think this is to be done this way. He doesn't know. And it's going to be done my way, and I'm going to do it this way. He won't even know, right? But they know everything. And so this is Guru Avagya, which is one of the offenses. Chanting the holy names of the Lord. If you're doing Guru Avagya over there, then over here, you won't be able to chant your rounds properly, like that. So it's a very serious offense. So don't come very close to the spiritual master. And, sometimes you can even scold him, right? Like the husband is a spiritual master of the wife. Wife can scold. Wife scold all the time. Kali-yuga, all that the wife does is scolding the wives, right? The spouses, I mean, when I was growing up, the husbands used to scold their wives. And now I'm seeing a different change in the trend, like that. Yeah. So we have to be very careful about that.
Mataji, the sentence what you have told, familiarity, and I did not get the last.
Familiarity. Does anybody wants to complete that? What does familiarity do? Familiarity breeds. What does it breed?
Contempt.
Contempt. Yeah. So what is contempt? What does contempt mean?
Where we start.
Look down upon.
Yeah, that this person is tuchh hai, like that, is beneath our consideration. Yeah, worthless. Like that. What this guru doesn't know anything, doesn't know how to use an iPhone. What what will he teach me? He's not even at the level of my technical skills, like that. Yeah.
Mataji, I was also struck by that line which Varshana Mataji and noticed that with gravity, but it came to my mind in a little bit different perspective, that I was thinking that, how in our real life also sometimes when a friend is going through a difficult time and she turns towards another friend and asks for advice and, just a support, or just somebody who can hear or listen. And that's how, and here Arjun is really fortunate that he has Krishna by his side, where he can, turn to Krishna. And but Krishna is like listening to him very patiently, and not just, not just giving him advice right away, do this, do that, but he's very patiently listening and making Arjun comfortable and comforting him like a true friend. So I really was, I'm just thinking that how fortunate Arjun is.
Oh yes, oh yes. Arjuna is a big devotee. Yeah, he's a devotee. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, like when we are reading the Bhagavad Gita, we could get into this notion and this position of criticizing Arjuna. Right? What is Arjuna doing? What is he doing? What is he? So we have to constantly keep on remembering that this is a play that he's enacting. And then the biggest ones that are the brunt of our criticism are Dronacharya and Bhishma Deva, right? Because they are taking such a bad role. But they are taking it for Krishna, to prove Krishna's point that no matter how mighty you are, if you are in the wrong side, then you can never win the race. And you might have short-term results coming out of it, but in the long run, the laws of material nature always prevail. So we have to keep that in mind. And one of the things that you pointed out was silent, right? Tushnim Bhabuvava, we read in the previous words. And na yotsa iti govinda, he says that, right? I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. He gives that up. And here, and as pointed out, that Arjuna saying, I don't want to fight here, versus he's saying, I don't want to fight in the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 is a different one. In chapter 1, he's still making his own decisions and he's saying, I won't fight. And here he's just saying that, the decision and the act of fighting or not fighting, can stop over here. First, I have to listen to what you're saying. And that's the most important thing, that you have to be in the listening mode. When you are surrendered to a spiritual master. But the good thing that that Arjuna has done is that he has surrendered. He has surrendered to Krishna. That's amazing. And then he's and Sanjay over there, who's narrating all this thing to our Dhritarashtra. Look at Sanjay; he's using such classic names. How did he address Dhritarashtra? How does he address Dhritarashtra? By what name does he call him?
Bharata, descendant of Bharata.
Right? And he was signifying the greatness of King Bharat, Emperor Bharat, and saying, like, you are the one who's after the Rashtra, you are Dhritarashtra, right? And then say, senior pure mante vishidantam idam vacha. So he's lamenting, and Arjuna is lamenting because, number one, he's not seeing things properly, and we have always talked about that. And then also, he has got this mental block, right? Because of all the seeing and the interpretation that he's doing from whatever he's seeing, right? And then the good thing is that he has, because his senses are giving him trouble, Sanjay is saying, but look at him. He has actually turned to none other than Rishikesh. And Rishik is the senses, right? And Esha is the controller. So he's the controller of all the senses, right? And somebody might just say, and this is something that a lot of people who are not much deep into our philosophy and our culture might just say that, how can you say Krishna is engaged, Krishna is a controller of the senses? Doesn't he dance with the gopis all the time, right? That's always a big complaint that we have from non-believers and non-devotees or novices and neophytes and things like that, right? And the interesting thing over here is that, and we see that in the Mahabharata, that's why sometimes we go towards the Mahabharata to pick only as much as we need in our pursuance of the studies of Bhagavad Gita. And over there in the Mahabharata, the narration starts not just from the war, but goes back a little bit to the lineage, and that they are defining that Shantanu was the emperor, right? And Shantanu had actually met with Ganga in the heavenly planets, where he had gone there for a meeting. So in those days, interplanetary travel was allowed, and the kings from this planet could go to the other planet. and for meetings. So he was there in the heavenly planets, and I'm forgetting whether it was Indra or Brahma's assembly, most likely Indra's assembly. And so he sees Ganga Devi, and both of them get attracted to each other. And so much so, Yuvatinam Yatha Yuni Yunam Cha Yatha. Remember, it's just a material planet there also, just more opulent. And so they get attracted to each other to so much that they forget their whatever is the surrounding. And then when the master of the assembly comes in, they forget to bow down, obeisances, stand up, and things like that. So he gets angry and he curses Ganga, especially, that you will go back, you'll go there. You like this man, you go where he lives, which is a downfall for her, right? From the heavenly planets, you have to come over here. And then of course they come here and they get married. And one of the things that one of the promises that Ganga extracts from the husband, and women are very good at doing that. We women are very good at doing that. So was that you will never question whatever I'm doing, and which is a very big promise to give to somebody, that I will never question. When people come to you with such kind of open-ended kind of promises, you have to be very careful before you accept those promises. That's a lesson for us to learn from our life. Sometimes our kids will come and tell us, promise me, mom, you won't scold me for what I'm going to tell you. Promise me, mom, you're going to agree to whatever I'm going to tell you. No, you have no idea what the kid is going to throw at you. Right? So you should always have a safe statement that, no, I can't promise you. Let's see. I'll try to be fair. You have to do that. So this example is telling us again on how we should be leading our lives. And so he promises, and then they have a child. And so everybody's overjoyed. But then Ganga goes to the water and submerges the child inside the water. And the king is horrified with that, right? And this happens for many, many times. But then he remembers that I had promised her that whatever you do, I will not ask you any questions. So he was maintaining his silence. And then when it came to Bhishma Pitama was born, then he just could not control himself and he spoke. And then because he spoke, then Ganga, that was a promise that if you question whatever I'm doing, I'll go back to the heavenly planets. And so she goes, carrying the child with her. And then this is again an example of that, when you're supposed to be silent and you are not silent, then you lose something like that, right? So anyway, then further, what happens is that after some time, the king is out hunting, and he meets with, who does he meet? Satyavati, exactly, right? So he meets Satyavati, and Satyavati is very beautiful, but she's coming from a lower family. And so king really gets attracted to her. And then one day when he's just thinking, but he says no. And by the time, Bhishma has also come back, Pitama has also come back. He has learned a lot of skills in the heavenly planets, and he comes back to live with the father. And so Shantanu now is starting to think about Satyavati. So earlier he was thinking about Ganga, and now it's Satyavati, like that. This is a material world for us. And then Bhishma Pitama sees all that, he's observing, but then doesn't say anything because the father is the father. And then Shantanu goes one day to ask the girl's father, like, can I marry her? But the girl's father says that, you already have a son, right? And my daughter will just be kind of like the second wife. So still, although the first wife is not there, but still have the treatment of a second wife. So I don't want her just to become a servant. And of course, after Bhishma Pitama comes of age, he will take the throne. So she will definitely become even more of a servant like that, because he will do his will, right? And so and then Shantanu agrees. So it's still, good reasoning is still there. So he agrees and says, yeah, I should not marry your daughter. He goes back. But then he can't forget the lady, and feeling very sad. And then Bhishma Pitama, out of his goodness, inquires. And then when he hears about that, he says, oh, no, that, fine, I won't take the kingdom. You take the kingdom, she can be the queen and whoever. But then when these talks are going on, these negotiations are going on with the girl's father said, yeah, but what about your son? What if he wants to become? And same thing, which is happening further down in the Mahabharata, right? Duryodhana should rule or Yudhishthira should rule. It's all about the Rashtra, right? And then he says that what if you have children? And that's when Bhishma Pitama his name was Devavrata, right, earlier. And he takes this promise and he says, I will forever of my life, I will not get married. And I will remain a brahmachari for my life. So it's a very kathin, it's a very difficult promise that he took. And that's why his name is called Bhishma, right? Bhishma Pitama. So his name becomes Bhishma like that, right? So you can imagine how much of sense control Bhishma Pitama is doing, right? You see him as a handsome man, and he has got lots of powers and skills, and so women could get attracted to him, but he's controlling all that, right? So he's amazed. He's like the quintessential brahmachari that we can describe. And then he, when Krishna, during the Rajasuya Yagya, he says that Krishna is the supreme brahmachari. So now you can go figure that out. That if Bhishmitama, who is such a superior brahmachari, is calling Krishna as a brahmachari, then this means that our understanding of the Rasa Leela, there's something wrong there, in our understanding.
Very nice, Mataji, this description. But one question somebody asked me, why Srimati Radharani is next to Krishna in every temple? Why not Rukmani?
Rukmani is Krishna's wife.
She was his wife, yes.
Yeah, she's the wife. And Radharani is the supreme energy of Krishna. You cannot separate the energy from the energetic. And that's why sometimes people will also ask that, why does Krishna not marry Radha? Right? And say that, oh, he dumped her and things like that. But if you go deeper into the philosophy, it doesn't make any sense, right? He's your energy. What will you do marrying your energy? Right? It is you. She's part and parcel of you. They are inseparable. And that's why they say, when they say Radha and Krishna are inseparable, that is what is meant. Because he is the energy, right? How can you separate? Yesterday we talked about that, right? How can you separate the energy from the energetic? You cannot do that.
Very, very nice, Mother. Thank you so much.
But sometimes people are in that mood, not able to appreciate the depth of that. So they really like to see a husband and a wife. And also when Krishna and Radha are there, and his pastime, in those pastimes, Krishna is always there as a gwala, right? He's a cowherd boy. Not too much of opulence is there. But sometimes people like to look at him in the opulence, in the mood, right? Krishna, but he was there. He did his pastimes. He did his opulent pastimes in the form of Dwarkadish, right? As the king of Dwarka. So there, he's with his 16,000 wives, and we know all the 16,108 wives that he had amazing palaces, right? Amazing palaces, right? And he was living like an ideal husband, and multiplied him by so many times. And when we were reading that particular verse where a couple of days ago, which we'll talk about apatnam riddham, rajam subranam, and so it was they were talking about, like, if I get an unrivaled kingdom, and in that point, for unrivaled, they had used the term in Sanskrit, they had used the term apatanam, right? And so asapatanam, and I had explained there that when there are so many wives, then there is rivalry between them, and because they all pull the husband in their direction. So you can imagine 16,100 women pulling Krishna in their direction, saying, you come to my palace, you come to my palace. But only Krishna was able to expand himself into 16,108 forms. And then also, somebody might say that, oh, that is possible by, it's a mystic yoga. To create expansions of yourself is mystic yoga. But we have to remember that there's a limit to how much you can expand. Even if you get mystic powers, you can expand only to an n number of times, maybe 9 or 16, I'm forgetting because I don't care. But it's a very small number. Certainly it's not 16,108. So Krishna is the supreme yogi. Even there we said he's Yogeshwara. He's the, Ishwar of the yogis also. So whatever the yogi do, he's even better than them. So you can expand yourself to 9 or 16. I can expand even more. And unlimitedly he can expand. Like in the Rasa dance, there were so many people who were dancing the Rasa dance, and each one of them thought that Krishna is dancing with her. So this means Krishna had expanded so many times there also, like that. And one of the differences there is that when it comes to mystic powers, and when you expand yourself in the mystic powers through using your mystic powers, then your expansions kind of do the same thing. right? And Prabhupada gives such a nice example of that. He said, well, this is Kali Yuga. Everybody can expand if the expansion can do the same thing. For example, now I'm looking at Zoom and I'm seeing myself raise my hand. I look at here on my cell phone to watch the Facebook, I'm raising the hand, right? So whatever I've been, and there could be millions of people watching this telecast. And if I raise my hand, I raise my hand in all those millions of manifestation of myself, right? So what's the big deal? But Krishna, as his expansion, was doing very different thing. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the grantha to read these days, tells you about Narada's bewilderment, because he goes to different palaces and he sees like, oh, first palace he sees, okay, Krishna is there, he's engaged in doing deity worship. He goes to the next one, he's talking to his wife, says, oh, I just now saw him there. What is he doing here? And like that, somewhere he's playing with his children, and he treated all his wives equally, like that. So so sometimes people like to watch him in that opulent mood. So you will see that in ISKCON Los Angeles, we have Rukmini Dwarkadhish. And they are very opulently dressed, very, very opulent. They are doing that. Food is opulent, and the seva is opulent, and everything there is in the mood of opulence. So it depends on the devotee's mood in which they want to see them.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nice explanation.
Like that, yeah, it all comes from Prabhupada. So the niceness goes to Krishna. Now, somebody had told me yesterday that they will help me monitor the time. Who was it who said that?
It was me, Mataji, and I was trying to say something, but you were going on. I didn't want to interrupt you. That's why I put a little hand up on the side.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, sorry about that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and another thing, like all of you pointed out, was that Krishna is smiling over here, right? And that smile is coming. It's a very benign and loving smile of the spiritual master towards the student, because he's happy that he has accepted him as his disciple. Because once you have to surrender, and then the information can flow. Okay, so we are at 7:40. Those of you who have to leave can leave. That's fine. And at any time, it's okay for me if you have to leave, because I know some of you have work to do. You have cooking in the morning, deity worship, and all that. So that's absolutely fine. No offenses taken at all. If you have to leave, you have to leave. I can stay here for 3 more minutes till 7:45 before I have to leave. So if there are any questions, reflections that can be addressed in that period of time, I'll be happy to address them. Anything else that you want to speak and say? And let's see, Vijay Lakshmi Mataji is saying, thank you, Namazaya, thank you so much for joining the call. Yeah, and she likes the Krishna and Radha explanation here. That's very good. And Meena is also watching us here. That's awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can post them on Facebook also. And today, in the evening, we're going to have, and morning in India, we're going to have the Bhagavad Gita class. What time does it start?
6 p.m. Mataji.
6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. for Sutapa. Okay. All right. Okay, so if you don't have any comments or questions, then we'll call it a day here. Vanchukalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha gaur premanande hari hari bol. Okay, everybody unmute yourself and give me hari bol.
Hari bol.
Hari bol. Have a fantastic day, and remember the goals that you have tweaked, or you have revised, or you have recalibrated, rejuvenated your goals. Please go for them one more time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.